The Pokemon community on the ROM hack and fan game side of things have seen a humongous surge in popularity due to games like Pokemon Emerald Rogue and PokeRogue being covered non-stop in a lot of Twitch streams and or YouTube streams or just popular YouTube videos in general. And before that, it was games like Pokemon Radical Red and Pokemon Unbound, which took the internet by storm and had articles written on them. There are YouTubers who have established YouTube careers off of those games specifically. And then if you want to go back even further, there's Pokemon Uranium and Pokemon Insurgence who took the internet by storm back in 2015, 2016. And if you want to go further, it's Pokemon Light Platinum or Pokemon Glazed or Pokemon Reborn. You see where I'm going with this, right? Whenever the Pokemon company has released a lackluster project, there's always that one specific fan who comes out of nowhere and takes the internet by storm because in their mind they were like, how would it be if we added Pokemon to this? Or that one kid who's like, oh, we don't have a Pokemon based on this animal, let's see if I can make it in a Pokemon style. Or that one kid who wants to practice their own storytelling skills, or that other guy who wants to make Pokemon darker. There is a lane for everybody in this Pokemon space, and that's the reason why I like it so much. This entire channel has spent 10, maybe 11 years covering fan game projects, and I gotta be honest, it's gotten so much better. And to be, I want to have a moment of appreciation for my guys. Thank you so much for the hard work you guys put in, especially for free, because we all know Nintendo, they be trying to shut y'all down. And hey, we gotta work together, y'all. But as I was looking back, I was thinking to myself, like, what makes a Pokemon fan game and or ROM hack good to me? Like I said, I spent the last 11 years covering fan game projects, and not every project has hit for me. And it's no slight to the creator. It's just sometimes some things are missing and some things don't click. And it's very hard to sometimes express what that thing is. And so as a result, some games get dropped randomly, especially if the viewers aren't clicking with it as a YouTuber. It's like, okay, cool. If this game, while I'm having fun, I can either go against the algorithm or go against my channel. Or if I'm not having fun with it and my audience is not having fun with it and they're playing along with me, what does that say about the game? But I like to think that YouTubers create this ecosystem for fan game developers to go in, see the feedback for their games, but then also take in some feedback and then implement them in future updates, or have new ideas in mind just in case they want to make another game or their own game specifically. Because at the end of the day, not only are we trying to express ourselves, but we want people to play our games. We want people to play and watch our things, you know? We're creatives. This is what we do. So today, I actually want to give what I think makes a good Pokemon fan game or ROM hack to where it's not only enjoyable for a YouTuber like myself, but then also the audience that plays at the casual Pokemon fans or the hardcore Pokemon fans who want to challenge. It really just depends on who you're trying to cater to. But then also in the comment section below, I invite anybody and everybody to please give your feedback to what you guys like about ROM hacks and fan games. Give examples of good ROM hacks and fan games that you've played in the past. So that way these developers can go into the comment section and be like, okay, cool. I see a game that I want to make my game based off of, and I want to implement some ideas from them. Also, please don't be a dickhead and slander some Pokemon fan games and ROM hacks in the comment section below. Listen, we're not trying to do that. We're trying to give feedback to the community. Come on, y'all. Don't be an asshole. Not this month, please. Now, I want to start off this list of things with story. Now, depending on what game you're playing, story plays either a really big role or a small role, like in difficulty enhancement hacks where the difficulty and the gameplay is more the center focus and not the story. Especially when some of those games don't really do anything new. Like there are some games that really just are Fire Red and Emerald, but then here's a humongous generation 1 through 9 edition, some hard trainers here and there, and that's the ROM hack that you're playing. Or you can go full off the deep end and go straight into humongous storytelling like Rejuvenation or Reborn. Or you can do something light like Uranium or Insurgence maybe. It really all just depends on you. But for me, I think one of the big things about it is if you are going to attempt a story game, you have to first think about how deep do you want this story to be. Do you want it to be a surface level? Do you want it to be a deep and meaningful story? Or would you like a really small, lighthearted adventure? It's all up to you, you know? Like for example, one of my favorite Pokemon games is Pokemon Rejuvenation. It's probably my top 2 Pokemon fan games of all time. Pokemon Rejuvenation has a cast of about 8 to 12 main characters, and they all play an important role. They all get their specific arcs, and they all end up playing pivotal roles in the story. There's not a single character left behind unless we travel way farther than when they're introduced, and even then, they always end up coming back up later in the story, and it's so cool, bro. It feels like the world in Rejuvenation is alive and they interact with each other outside of you, the main character, and that's what I love about Rejuvenation. Even though you are the main character in Rejuvenation, you're just like everybody else you're traveling with. Well, until the most recent patch, because oh my god, they made us important. Now, one of the biggest problems with games like Rejuvenation, and I know a lot of people have the same critique, is the amount of dialogue that these games have. When you have a cast full of that many characters, it's kind of hard to not only get as many of those personalities out there while trying to flesh them out and give the player some time to actually play the game, but you also have to focus on making the game fun enough to keep the people immersed in the story that you're trying to tell. And if there's one thing I noticed about Pokemon fans, a lot of Pokemon fans do not know how to read. Did you all know there's people that think In is Ghetsis' real son? Like, y'all, read the dialogue, please. But I look at it like this: it's hard to balance gameplay and story when the player base really just presses A for the most part. Like, there's a certain demographic of Pokemon fans that play ROM hacks and fan games that only take in difficulty enhancement hacks and don't touch anything story related, because in their minds, Pokemon's not a story-based game. So would I play a story-based game if I'm just trying to play the game for how hard these people make it? You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to balance it out. But there is a fan base for those story-driven Pokemon games, and so obviously to feed those guys, I don't want to say give them too much dialogue early on, but definitely pace it, you know, pace it well. Even now, like Rejuvenation and Reborn, the early versions of those games used to be nothing but word vomits, but now a lot of those experiences are streamlined. And when I went back to play Pokemon Reborn, I was like, damn, I got out of Reborn City really fast compared to the last time I played the game. Playthroughs used to be 50 something parts before we even saw the carnival. And I don't know whether or not that's because of the brand new Pokemon Essentials, or maybe now that everything has speed up buttons now. But when it comes to the dialogue, I think balancing gameplay and talking is really, really important. If you want, you could try to put dialogue within the battles themselves while you're battling them to make the battle seem a lot more impactful. Or instead of just having one cutscene and you're just having all these people talk on screen, why not split them up and have it while you're traveling, make the region feel a lot more alive and immersive, you know? Or if you want to go for a lighter tone and just have the regular evil team, you and your rival go from gym to gym and just battle them, and have the gym leader be involved some way in stopping the evil team every time you go to that person's town, that's always good. Because you don't want to overstay your welcome in the town. You kind of just want to get in, get your gym badge, maybe, you know, mingle with the locals, see if they have a resurrection machine, or maybe a department store or something like that, and then just leave, right? Maybe make the routes more unique. Something like that is really cool. Those are always a guaranteed go. And for the most part, a lot of those games seem to have a lot of regional variants and fake mon inside of them to make sure that, like, it's not just like, even though you are playing a regular Pokemon game, there's still something new besides the characters and the Elite Four that you're playing against. And those are always welcome, you know? Or if you want to do an enhancement hack, I think that using Fire Red and Emerald, and then using what you know about Kanto and Hoenn, and then adding some things like Drayano used to back in the day, where if you were playing Black and Black and White 2, or I'm sorry, Blaze Black and Volt White 2, you would sometimes see Hoenn gym leaders in the map and you would have to battle them. We don't have to battle them, but they're optional, right? Or how in Radical Red, they have a whole bunch of Heart Gold and Soul Silver additions to the story, to where it makes Fire Red more unique. And obviously with all the new add-ons, it just makes the game a lot more difficult. It makes the game a lot more fun. You get what I'm saying here? The little things matter, you know? The next thing on the list is gameplay. Now, this one is pretty much the exact same as the story. It really depends on what you're going for, because not every Pokemon fan wants a hard experience, but then not every Pokemon fan wants an easy one too. What I've seen recently is that a lot of the newer Pokemon fan games and ROM hacks have a lot of options for any of the players. Like some story focused games have a difficulty options where if you just want to play the easy mode and experience the story, you can do that. Or they have a hard version where not only do you get that crazy story, you also have a really hard challenge. There's somebody out there right now trying to work on a smart AI to make sure that the Pokemon games that you're playing are nothing like the main series games, because we all know Pokemon is a child franchise, or a franchise geared towards children, with a humongous veteran base of teens to 35-year-olds who just want that extra itch, you know what I'm saying, who got that fiend. Like, you know, there's a reason why people are making the games hard for themselves, you know, we can't deny that. I think when it comes to the gameplay, the Pokemon fan games and ROM hacking scene is probably the best it's ever been. I think that all these developers are making games with you, the player, in mind, so there really isn't much to give any critique on. But what I will say, those developers that like, oh, I want my game to be played a certain way, while I understand the vision and I see it, I also would implore you to be more open-minded, or at least have your resources out there for people to like mod your game. Like, for example, Pokemon Inclement Emerald, there are multiple versions of Inclement Emerald that can be played right now, all because the creator himself put the whole thing out there. And while we don't know when the next big update from him is going to come out, there are plenty of versions of Inclement Emerald to play that you can just, you know, run through yourself if you want to. And that's really cool in my opinion. Now, this next one on the list is where it's gonna get really, really spicy. Oh my God, we have to talk about tile sets / graphics. Put a 1 in the comment section if you're tired of seeing the same old Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Pokemon Emerald tile sets that you see all the time in these ROM hacks and fan games. Let me know. Now, unfortunately, there are people out there that are really stingy with their projects. I understand you want your game to look as unique as possible. You don't want your, I guess, property or your intellectual property to be taken by everybody. But my lord, can we at least get some free resources out there? Now, I'm not saying there aren't a lot of free things that can be used. You can go on Twitter or DeviantArt right now and find any tile set that you want. And I mean, ultimately, if you are making a free Pokemon ROM hack and or fan game, there are a lot of things that you can use for free, and you got to use what you have to your advantage, you know? And ultimately, I mean, it depends on the developer. Do you want to use the free resources that are out there? But I would like to see more unique looking Pokemon fan games and ROM hacks, you know? Even if you are making a difficulty enhancement hack, use a more modern Kanto's tile set, or use a more modern Hoenn tile set. It's always the little things, you know? You want your game to look different the same way it feels different, you know? Like, for example, more recently, one of my friends is actually making his own Pokemon fan game called Pokemon Umbra. Now, I just want to preface this, he has a team of people behind him and they've been working on this game for years. But if I showed you some of these sprites, bro, oh my lord, dude, does this not look good to you? Now, obviously, this game is on the story focused side of things with some new modes here and there, and it's in PDSK, so certain things may be more doable than others. And things like this take a lot of time, and I'm sure you all probably don't want to make your game's development this long, you know? But I think I speak for a small minority of people, probably, I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below if it's just me. But I would like to feel like I'm in your world. I want you to put me into this, and I want you to like express what this world is outside of the dialogue of the characters. I want it to feel and look like I'm in something new. Like, for example, a game called Pokemon Odyssey, which is almost done, by the way. When I first played it, it was just a regular Pokemon game for the most part, with some custom character sprites for the main characters, and that was it. But now, as the game has developed, obviously, if you look at it now, there's still some things that probably can be fixed. I think it looks good personally, and they are reusing some assets, but all the new things feel like they're a part of the world that the creator is creating, you know? And then that mixed with the story, come on, dog. Oh my God, please finish that game. I love Odyssey so much, bro. It feels so refreshing, but it's feelings like that I want more of going forward, you know? But ultimately, like I said, it depends on you, the developer, and what you want to spend time on. And when it comes to your games, a lot of the times these Pokemon fan games and ROM hacks are some of these people's very first like step into game designing, and it's cool to see these veterans make their own game. Like, we have Pokemon Xenoverse developers making their own game coming up soon. I can't wait for that. And just recently, the Pokemon Empyrean developer made his own game that's out on Steam right now. Look up A Node Heart. Oh my god, dude, that game is so good. Especially if you're a Digimon fan, like, come on, y'all. And then last but not least, I think music. Now, when it comes to music, I feel like keeping it within the regular Pokemon remixes from Glitch is always cool. Using Pokemon Mystery Dungeon music, some, like, you know, some Golden Sun music, maybe some Legacy of Goku music here and there. I saw one ROM hack that used Mega Man Battle Network music, and oh my god, that was such a smart decision. But the Game Boy and the DS have a humongous roster of games that I feel like you're missing out on if you're not utilizing their amazing OSTs. Like, has anybody thought of putting Magical Star Sign music in their Pokemon games? Probably not. And maybe I'm asking for too much because some Pokemon fans only play Pokemon, which is kind of weird to me, but you know, it is what it is. But I love hearing music and then thinking to myself, damn, I know where that's from. Where is this from? And I'm sitting there blank as hell. And then I ask somebody in the comments like, yo, let me know where this is from. And they themselves are having that exact same moment. Like, oh my God, I know where this is from. This is from Skies of Arcadia. This is from Golden Sun. This is from Etrian Odyssey. Things like that, you know? Moments like that not only show variety in taste when it comes to a developer, it's almost like if you're watching a video and somebody's using like some Sonic music or some Zelda music and you didn't even know they were into Zelda like that, and you were like, oh my God, I wasn't familiar with your game. I didn't know you were into that. Okay, look at you. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel a part of something, you know? It's hard. It's so hard to explain. Hopefully I'm getting the point across. But I think that's it for right now. If there's any more suggestions you all have in the comment section, let me know. This was really just me just spitting ideas because I'm gonna be honest with you, there's nothing to play, but there's also a lot to play at the same time. I'm just not one of those guys who will like YouTube stream you to death with the same game over and over again. And shout out to those creators, but that's just not how my brain works, you know? And I figured we take a break from the playthroughs because that's all we do on this channel now. And not every game gets completed all the way, you know? And I mean, there's always somebody watching these videos, so you never know who this video might reach out to. You never know, man. But yeah, hopefully this video was enjoyable. And with that being said, leave a like in the comments, subscribe for some more Pokemon content, and I will talk to y'all in the next video. Bye, I love you guys.